Facebook.
Yeah, and then there's the internet, and this is just this Facebook.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to Body Talk with Gigi. That's me, and Melody Marie. That's her. Where it's all about the body,
and we love to talk.
We are so excited tonight because, as you can see, we have a very handsome, first of all, special guest. And you can tell he's in scrubs, which means he must be in healthcare. Listen, I have my own personal story about this guest, so I'm going to calm myself down, and I'm going to try not to get emotional because he's special to me because he has helped me in so many ways. I know him personally because I don't work with him. We work in the same area. He has his business. He's the founder of the Atlanta Spine Doctors, which is an amazing medical facility, wellness facility here in the Atlanta area. Most of you know, you've heard me mention that I've had an injury a few years ago in 2014 that took me out of commission. Not just from stage, but it was a difficult issue. I had a hamstring injury, and it was very painful, and it's very difficult for me to manage. I didn't complain a lot about it, but it was a very difficult time for me. This gentleman right here is the one that brought me back. I had to spend a lot of time with him and his staff, about 3-4 days a week, and people would say, well, what does he do? What do they do? And I'm like, I don't know. I described it as like magic. So they put like sprinkle dust on me. It's because they use a lot of innovative technology healing me. And so what can I say? Dr. Rashad Sanford is just amazing, and so is his staff, and we're just pleased that you are here tonight.
Thank you.
So I personally want to give you a round of applause.
Thank you,
and so
I'm really humble right here.
You had no idea, right? You had no idea.
That's really tissues.
But seriously, we recognize what you guys do is incredible work. You do a lot of innovative work, and what I really appreciate is your commitment to not using a lot of medicinal or medicines and drugs to help your patients. So why don't you tell the viewers out there who may not be familiar with yourself and your facility more about that.
Okay.
We want to hear about you.
We want to hear about you.
Yes.
Enough about Gigi.
And all the amazing things that you
Exactly.
do.
Well,
Yes.
it's me, but I also have a team, and I'm nothing without my team, so I definitely have to say that. But
That's awesome.
But the office is Atlanta Spine Doctors. Our primary location, the original location that I found, was in Sandy Springs, and then we expanded over into Marietta.
Okay.
Hence when I met you and we began working together at that location.
Mm-hmm.
But we work. I have about 4 doctors that work with me, and I mean they're all great. I have a great support staff, massage therapists as well.
This is true.
But I do pride myself on traveling across the country to find the latest in technology, the things that get people healthy as soon as possible. So when you see like it started off probably because of the athletic background and dealing with a lot of athletes.
Because you were an athlete yourself as well.
Yes.
What kind of athlete?
Uh-oh.
Well, you know, I've tried to play a little bit of everything. But no, really basketball.
Okay.
But basketball.
Well, you guys, y'all don't see him
Y'all
standing,
can't tell.
so he's very tall.
But I am a sports lover, and unfortunately, when I had an injury, it kind of shut me down a little bit, where I wasn't able to play basketball without a significant amount of pain.
Oh, wow.
And long story short, I got into chiropractic care. It helped me, and I found my passion there, where I said, this is something that, okay, we can help people get better. And had I known about it sooner, then I would have been able to do a lot more, even with the potential in my career. But what I learned was that my #1 job is to get out there and educate people, because so many people don't know about what we offer, and they just walk around every day just feeling like they're hopeless, or they have to be on all these medications all the time, or there is no answer. So it's a beautiful thing when you can show people that there's another way to improve their quality of life as well. So
well, until I kind of met you guys and started working with you guys, I'm a little ashamed to admit I was one of those people that needed to be educated. I grew up and I was in healthcare for 20 plus years, and I just kind of had the assumption that chiropractic care just pretty much meant alignments and adjustments. I didn't realize that you guys really covered a number of medical conditions that you could care for.
Yes.
Right. And you know, that's very true. So the chiropractic claim to fame really has been like back pain, auto accidents.
Everybody think you a back cracker.
Back crackers, snack, crackle, pop, all that good stuff.
Snack, crackle, and pop.
And that's why I always tell my team and everyone else is that, yeah, the number one priority is to educate, because what I really care about is we're really nerve doctors. We care about the nervous system.
Yes, that's true.
And the reason why is because the nerves control everything. It's like before, when a baby's developed, it's not the heart that starts first. It's not the lungs. It's the nervous system that develops first. And then all the organ systems come about. And hey, to be honest, it just so happens that all of the nerves that originate in the body and travel everywhere else originate in the spine.
In the spine.
Absolutely.
Had they started in the arm, you might be calling us arm doctors.
Right.
but it's just a matter of that those nerves travel everywhere and they affect everything from, yes, like the back pain, the headaches, but what they also affect, I mean, and outside of like muscle spasms and those aches and pains, but it also affects sinuses and allergies, and asthma and digestive issues, reproductive issues. I mean, there are a lot of different things. Immune system, how well a person sleeps, energy levels, all these different things.
So these are all conditions that you guys can actually help patients with.
Yeah,
people are suffering with all of these conditions.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a matter of that. What I tell people is that we remove the interference. So what happens is that when we just aid the body. The body is, I mean, it's amazing. So it's designed to do so much as far as healing. But sometimes there's the interference, and that could be from accidents or falls or repetitive stress or just different things. So what we do is we find those areas that have gone on in a person's life for so long or that have occurred that have now caused this kind of this blockage. I tell people it's like if you ever stepped on the garden hose and and you see like normally the water's coming out, but then now it starts to sputter. That's kind of what happens when your body goes out of alignment, or what we call subluxates. So when it goes out of alignment, the nerves can't send the proper signals to the rest of the body, and therefore now you get this dysfunction. It might be the headache, or it might be the back pain, or it might be, okay, I'm not going to the bathroom as well, or I'm not sleeping as well. So we identify those areas which oftentimes originate in the spine, and then we remove that interference, and that's what calms things down. So it's like taking that knot out the garden hose, or taking that foot off the garden hose. You're just restoring the signals.
Absolutely.
Would you say that like when you correct patients with alignment, is it, because it's better for it to be like a continual thing? I know personally, like, okay, all right, you guys have to get on me because I'm a little stubborn and hard-headed, and sometimes I don't continue it. So when I don't continue it, I get jacked up like this, like I'm like all like this, literally like this. And so what happens is, I think, is it more like muscle memory? Like when we're like lifting weights, we have to create like, it's like creating muscle memory. Is adjustments the same way? We need to kind of continue it on a regular basis with you, so our body kind of creates a muscle memory to make that correction?
No, I mean, that's very insightful, because it's very similar, because the first thing is that, like, you do your everyday routine. So some people, like I tell them, okay, you may sit in your car, you may sit at your desk and you like to lean every day, or you may stand up and you stand at this hip or that hip, or you sleep a certain way. So it's that repetitive stress. So yes, muscle memory comes into play. So then the muscles attached to your spine, and then gradually you start to see this rotation that goes on. And over a period of time, then it becomes a point where it stops the motion, and now you get this inflammation, and that's when the nerves start to irritate.
That's why I keep getting jacked up, and I need to.
I want to hear more about the use of the cold laser therapy for the pain relief, because as I was reading your bio, that was really one of the first times I had heard of that. So I want to hear more about that, because of course the audience thinks pain has to be relieved by medication. Tell us a little bit more about that, because you're one of the few that use that actual technology and theory.
That is a major thing. Like I said, I travel. I remember first experiencing that down in Florida. I traveled down there, and we also work with some pro sports teams, and I started seeing where this could be beneficial.
Because you work with a lot of the sports teams.
So what I do, and because he's
about to be humble, just so you know.
For doctor-patient reasons. I'm kind of the guy.
You know I had to ask, right?
Put it this way, I mean, I've seen players from everywhere, from your Falcons, your Hawks, your Raiders, your Ravens, your Mavericks, your Orlando Magic, a lot of different teams, Minnesota Twins, a lot of, but I'm the guy that they call sometimes when they're doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, that they need to get right for the team. And then I'm also the guy that they call when sometimes there are some issues that need a little bit of advanced help, i.e. like the cold laser. I mean, we are like the only place in Metro Atlanta that actually has this cold laser, and it's amazing. What it is class 4 deep tissue technology, and it's pretty much a light, really. The laser is a light, so it's not the surgical that's going to like cut through something, but what the light does is it penetrates through the tissue a couple inches down, and it stimulates the cells to accelerate the healing process.
Is that the type of laser you used on me?
I sure did. Yep.
Yes!
So when we had the hamstring issue, since I can't talk about that
yes, I give you permission to talk about my treatment.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. That's on camera.
I give him permission to fully talk about my treatment.
She did give you.
I give you permission. So go for it. I give you full permission because it was amazing, and that's what people would ask, like, well, what kind of treatment? And I'm like, I don't know. It worked. It worked, and I could feel. I remembered you would say it was cold laser, but it would feel like heat. Actually, it would feel warm, but it was a cold laser treatment. It was a little weird.
So when it penetrates 2 inches below the skin, what continues to happen?
So the light really operates, not to get into like microbiology, but what happens is it's a part of the cell called the mitochondria, which functions as energy production. I mean, y'all know
I was biology major.
Okay, gotcha. There you go. So energy production and the ATP process. So what happens is the light stimulates the mitochondria to produce more ATP, which produces more energy, and therefore it helps to speed up the healing process. But what it also does is it helps to open up the blood vessels to help remove those inflammatory chemicals that may be in the area. So it helps with the pain relief as well as accelerating the healing process. So that's where like the guys that have these injuries, and you're like, well, how did he get back on the field so fast? Or how, just like crazy, like. That's some of the type of treatments that we use on them.
Okay, so I love that because basically what that's saying to me is that it's correcting the problem instead of masking it with medication.
Absolutely.
Right, because medication helps with relieve the pain, but this is actually helping to get rid of what's causing the pain.
Exactly.
Love it. I love that.
That's very true.
How do you continue to upkeep your education and your staff's education with the most recent technologies?
So I'm big. I mean, I look at a lot of journals. I travel a couple times a year to the largest conventions, and then I just stay abreast as far as looking at things, even outside of my field. It may be something that a medical doctor, it might be something that a sports therapist is doing. I was just out in Vegas a few weeks ago, and I was at UNLV, and I'm talking to some of the guys there, and former therapists for an MBA and things of that nature. So you talk with the different professionals, you talk with the different manufacturers, and I pride myself to always be on top of things so that we can bring it to not only the elite athletes, but bring it to the general public to help them.
Right. Nice. I also read you went to an HBCU.
Hey,
Spelman. I just want to throw that in there, y'all. Just something a little light and fluffy. Morris Brown in the house.
HBCU love. There we go.
Since you mentioned education, I thought exactly. And you went to Life College, which is one of the best when it comes to chiropractic medicine as well, too. So kudos to you. All right now.
And we are also aware that you have a huge passion to give back to the community.
Absolutely.
And how did that begin? What sparked that? Did your mom? Is it just in you? We know that you have a wife and 2 beautiful children. Like, what sparks that passion in you?
Well, you know, it's one of those things. I guess it was just the environment that I grew up. I mean, I grew up in the hood in Philly.
Okay.
And a lot of things.
That I didn't know about you. Good info.
You know, I grew up, and unfortunately, there were some things that you're not necessarily afforded or not exposed to. So that was one of the first things that, man, like I said before, had I known about certain things, it would have helped me at a younger age. So I wanted to make sure that I kind of gave back from that side of things, and from the standpoint that there were so many people that helped me along the way. It wasn't like I just did it myself. I mean, there were people, there were mentors, there were coaches, there
so
were
you
counselors.
got to pay it. You're paying it forward.
Exactly, you pay it forward, and those people, even if some that were in my field, some that weren't in my field, but they all poured into me. So I said, you can't just get up there and then just forget. So I mean, I try to instill that into my team and to my doctors as well. That's what you want to do as far as give back. So that's a big part.
I love that.
And so so not only just encouraging to get out there and educate, but also when I was at Life, I had the privilege of being a doctor in a homeless shelter, women's and children's shelter. So that was another beautiful thing that I appreciate as well. So so we're working on some initiatives with that as well. I know.
Do you have any upcoming community events that you or your team? I know that personally, I'm aware of a lot of events that you guys are working on. Do you have any current that's kind of dear to your heart?
Gotcha. So the team is actually working on some things right now. Actually, I know they're doing a lot of things with the city of Atlanta. Dr. Bledsoe, Dr. Hunter, they're doing some amazing things. I'm in the process of talking to some homeless shelters as well to offer free chiropractic care to the homeless and less fortunate. So we're working on a few things.
Okay, well that's amazing. Well listen guys, we're going to take a short break and we need to make sure that you do not go anywhere. We have a lot more coming with Dr. Rashad Sanford and Body Talk with Gigi and Melody Marie. Don't go anywhere.
Great.